So, you guys, as we finished off last week, you had lots of exchanges with some really kind of rough around the edges, loud and obnoxious Highlanders. And I think the last thing you decided was that Marlowe might challenge one of them to a fight to try to prove y'all's worth tomorrow if Radovan failed in his diplomatic aids or efforts to get them to help you without resorting to that. And there was a discussion about whether or not Marlowe should challenge this guy to a drinking contest.
Gore, you went mute.
I don't know why.
It was like your mic, died.
That's probably because of the gain. So what I need to do is turn the gain back up and turn the OBS volume down. There we go. So. Alright. Okay.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Is that better?
Speak a full sentence. Then we'll know.
Okay, can you hear me? Do you understand what I am saying? Can you hear me?
Kind of.
Uh-oh.
You're like half and half, dude.
Terrible. That wasn't the worst.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not like you go quiet. You just dip and then come back.
Interesting.
Dip. It's like a roller coaster.
All right.
But I don't think this is the problem that we've always had in Skype. Like I don't think chat has that issue.
Yeah, chat can hear you.
Okay, as long as they can hear it.
Oh, there you go.
But I just told OBS to reinitialize the mic. Maybe that helps. Corey, thanks for the resub, my friend. Very much appreciated it. And spam your hype and spam your pants off. All right.
We hear you now.
Okay, that's good. Alrighty. Okay, what do you guys want to do?
What time of day is it again? Is it?
It's kind of late evening. Like it's not like bedtime as such, but people are slowly moving their way out of the tavern, step by step.
I don't do to challenge him right now. There's nobody here to see.
Mike the Exiled Nomad, thanks for hitting that sub with Twitch Prime. We appreciate it. Spam your hype and spam your pants off.
Thanks, Mikey. Well, he also just left, so that's not going to work very well.
No, that's him in the blue there.
Oh, for the drinking contest?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's still people around. Word will spread, drunk as it is.
I mean... Marlo, can you handle your liquor that well? I guess I've never really seen too much.
Yeah.
Legendarily well? These guys look like they can drink. I was just saying.
Well, honestly,
give me as soon as you said that, Kia, go ahead and give me a spot check.
Sure. Spot check is incoming. Spot. There it is.
What happened to the character sheet? Where'd it go?
There you go. 17.
All right. So with the 17, yeah, they do drink an inordinate amount, considerably more than what you're used to seeing the typical Arconians drink.
Okay.
I mean, they're not drinking shots by the shots. They're drinking them in, triples and doubles, and they're downing them. They all look pretty rosy-faced, and they're all pretty loud and pretty obnoxious. It would be a fair assumption that the average clansman here in Clan McCullum can handle their booze pretty well.
Okay.
well, honestly, it was sort of part of my training. My mentor had he had some eccentric methods, and unfortunately, I guess unfortunately, that method hasn't really been working for me recently. I think it has something to do with the progress I've made in my training. It doesn't affect me like it used to.
I guess they look pretty drunk already, so I'm sure they couldn't handle too much more.
None of them have been slurring their words yet.
Oh, but they're rosy cheeked.
They are all, yeah, but you know what? It's warm and hot in here and freezing cold outside, so you guys are pretty rosy-cheeked as well.
Slurring or not. Let's be real. We don't know what the hell they're saying. So.
You don't know.
Marlo, one past drunk to, well, not you're not going to become a drunk, I don't think. Have fun.
I never did the drink because I liked it.
Oh, I did. I drank a lot, and thankfully those demons are gone, but this is the first time we've been in civilization, like an actual place where we can sleep on hay, no less, but it's better than outside in several weeks, so I have no problem watching you attempt this, and I will support you and get your back. Just don't kill anybody, maybe don't start an actual fight, because, you know.
And I
Never seen me do
imagine
Drunken Master. No, I don't get drunk enough for that anymore.
Okay.
if you lose, then that will think you're even worse at fighting, and then they won't be prepared for tomorrow.
There's nothing wrong with a little underestimation.
Night Striker, thanks for the donation, buddy. We'll thank you
Exactly.
properly here in just a minute.
All right, well, let's do this. I'm gonna
Cool.
walk on over to this guy, and I'm gonna pull the chair out and sit across from him. And I'm gonna
All right.
mimic my best Scottish accent, which I'm not gonna
Oh,
try to
no.
do because I would never do it right.
If you're gonna do it, you have to do it. So
I know
either
there's no
do
way
a
I can
Scottish
do it.
accent, or Marlo doesn't do a Scottish accent.
Okay, Marlo
she
doesn't
tries.
do it because Spook can't do it. So, old Arseface would like a drinking challenge. How about you?
He kind of looks up at you and he smiles, and he says, "I hope you drink better than you look, lassie."
He's so lucky. I want to go with drinking instead of beating his ass right.
Hey, he says, "Bring a bottle of the house finest. Plop it down here on the table. Me and this lassie are gonna get honkered." Okay, so he comes over, slams down a whole. It's about 2/3 full still, and he's like, "So, what's the wager then?"
I'm gonna look back over at Kia and Radovan. What do we want to wager?
Place to sleep tonight. That's not the barn.
Okay, well, what will we give up in exchange?
He says,
Money.
"How about?" He says, "I don't need money." He goes, "How about a wee snog from the girl in the purple robes?"
A what?
A wee snog.
A snog?
You're on.
Alright, he spits in his hand and holds it out towards Marlo.
I'm gonna spit in my hand and shake.
Okay. Alright. So basically,
Pull out the sake cup.
you pull out the
Stand
sake
up.
cup. Okay, he kind of looks at it and he says, "Huh. We're gonna need a wee bigger glass over here." So the guy basically comes over with a half pint glass and puts it down. He fills your sake cup with scotch, dumps it in his pint glass, and then refills the sake cup or your sake cup back up so that you both have the same amount of liquor. Because I mean, his small shot glasses, your sake cup holds like 4 shots, right? So if it's a small one, maybe 2 shots. It's at least a double. Alrighty, okay, so you are going to start downing these things and making fortitude saves.
I mean, I can do that if you want, but technically poison doesn't affect me. But okay.
Well, if that's what I'm going to say, if poison doesn't affect you,
Oh boy.
technically, alcohol is a poison.
Which is why it's not working for me anymore.
Right, so we're going to go out on a limb, and we're just going to basically say, you're going to win this. And I'm going to go ahead and make a dice check. And we're going to see how well he does. I'm just going to keep it short and simple. Not very well. Okay, so 3 glasses in. He is wobbling. He's kind of blurred vision a little bit. And you notice he almost misses his mouth with his glass. Finally, he says, to keep this up, I gotta end up a jockey like that dude. The big horny fellow. Horny. You better hope he's not horny. Anyway, bottoms up. He collapses down off the chair, and you hear a loud as he collapses and hits the ground with a hard thump.
Hey! I'm gonna start cheering really loudly so everybody like notices that there was a competition.
I'm gonna pour one more shot and take it. It wasn't even warmed up yet.
Right. With that, you hear the tavern keeper bellow across. He says, "Congratulations! Now who's gonna pay for all that liquor? Because you had more than 1 or 2 wee drams for sure."
I'm sure he was gonna cover it. I mean, he lost.
Well, if you want to rifle through his pockets and help yourself to his coin and pay for it, that's up to you.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna pay for it myself.
Alright. He walks over, picks up the bottle, and there's probably like this much left in it. And he says, "Call it 4 silver."
I'll toss him a gold and say, "Is that enough for all of it?"
He said, "Aye, that'll do, lass, that'll do." He said, "Someone come and get him out of here. He's starting to howl."
What?
Jesus.
And you see the girl that's kind of sitting there rolls her eyes, and she kind of gets up, walks around to where he is, reaches down lovingly into his sporran, takes out a handful of coins, and leaves.
So she just takes money from him
Yeah,
and then leaves?
she basically took coin from him and left him laying there.
Good for her.
Like, finally, he's
Completely
like,
passed out.
yeah, he's out cold.
Damn it.
Innkeeper turns
does
around
he
and
live?
screams. He says, Wallace, take your cousin outside, man." "Hey, calm down. I'll get to it just in a second, you lavvy heed." And this guy kind of gets up and staggers fairly drunkenly himself, grabs hold of him, and you can see he's struggling to lift the guy. Not because he's weak, but again, he's none too stable himself. He kind of looks up at Marlowe across the table. He goes, "Gives a hand with you, lassie. Just at least to the door."
Alright, I'm gonna walk over to the other side and heave him up.
Okay, as you do so, a really pungent smell hits your nostrils. He's like, "Ah, gee Christ, I think he shot himself." And sure enough, there is a horrible stain on the floor where he was laying.
Ah! Great.
But with that, he helps him out of the door.
From the corner, you're just gonna hear a
Slow clap. Okay, well, the rest of the evening kind of continues. It's fairly, people are just more or less keeping themselves to themselves, having a drink here and there. The usual horrible gutterish tones can be heard, loud laughter, and clearly language that's probably not fit for ladies. Fortunately, there's only Kia, Liana, and Marlowe in here that fit the female description at this point anyway. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, I guess we never really were able to get a place to sleep with that guy because he passed out. So I guess we only have the barn to go to.
Yeah, would you want to spend the night at that guy's house?
No. Do you see the marks on the ground and what he did to himself? No. Nasty.
Barns aren't so bad. They're pretty comfortable, actually.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to find a trough or something and fill it with water so I can clean my, bathe.
I've slept in my fair share of barns, alright? It's fine. I'll be okay.
To the barn. Beecham, what do you think?
To the barn.
Seems as good a place as any on this cold night.
So I'm gonna get up and nod. Do we know where the barn is?
I'm sure we'll figure it out once we go back outside. Alright, Beecham walks over to the door and pulls his furs up around his head and tucks his hands in.
Yup.
He turns around and says, lovely drinking establishment you have here, my good man. See you again soon. And with that, he kind of wanders out the door with a rather sarcastic look and tone to his voice.
I'm gonna follow.
Okay.
Gonna wave at the bartender. Thanks.
Alrighty. You're heading out. Kia, you staying put or are you leaving as well? Okay, you're going. Okay. Alright, back outside in the village of Dunedin. You wander outside, immediately that frosty cold air just assails you.
I think that's the barn. I'm going to point at the hay that I see in the building to the north.
Very astute, Radovan.
It's a fairly good assumption, I think, that it probably is the barn.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so you guys make your way into the barn. It is pretty much full of thick, warm hay. So by piling that stuff on top of yourself, you can insulate yourself pretty well against the cold weather.
Yay!
Is there any troughs or anything that I could fill with water?
There is a trough outside, however, it is frozen solid. Or at least a very thick top layer is. You could possibly smash through the ice to the water beneath if you wish. But just looking at it, you shiver at how cold that's going to be.
Could have Kia warm it up for you.
I could.
Set the trough on fire.
Kia can burn water, she's that good.
We've been traveling for so long.
But that's because I can't cook, not because...
And we don't want to bring it inside because all the hay could go up, right? When it burns down the barn. Even with Endure Elements, yeah, that won't work. So yeah, I guess Radovez is going to go to sleep.
Okay.
Begrudgingly, kind of like...
Sorry about your precious shower.
Well, Marlowe's used to sleeping in the barns and in the hay and all that sort of stuff anyway, so that's all good. And with you guys having your thick winter furs and loading yourselves up and covering yourselves in hay, you're pretty well insulated. There is no door to this barn. It is kind of like an open-faced, like three-sectioned stable, really. But again, fortunately for you, the wind is blowing from the north. They weren't stupid enough to build the opening towards where the majority of the cold weather comes from. So the back of the barn is keeping most of the cold at bay for you guys. Alright, so you do get a fairly decent night.
I'm actually going to get up every couple hours to check and make sure that everybody's okay. Because I'm all paranoid now.
Okay. James Beecham is sleeping and purring away like a baby.
Babies purr.
He has one of those kind of low like snores to him.
Radovan is dead. Dead tired, so he's just sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been walking for...
And just, set a hand to make sure that they're breathing.
Yep.
I got Cal in my arms, kind of snuggled, sleeping. What was that?
I said, oh, Cuthbert.
Oh, Cuthbert.
I had a dream.
Oh, Cuthbert.
It's a good dream.
It sounds like you were disgusted by me snuggling a kitten. Oh, that was just something I heard.
Okay. So you have a good, decent night's sleep for once. It's really the first that you've had in a couple of weeks. The only other warm night you had was interrupted by the continual rattlings of old metal and the fear that more undead may descend upon you and set about you at any moment. So this is definitely a welcome rest. Everybody you're fully rested. If you need 8 hours sleep, you get them. Kia, you only need 4, but probably taking a full 8 is very welcome for your body. So you guys wake up early the following day. You can hear sheep bleating behind you. That's probably the first thing that you hear that wakes you up, and a couple of cockerels and roosters that seem to be screaming out as soon as the sun comes up in the distance.
What is our plan today? Do we have one? Because I don't think what Marlowe did last night really got us the respect of the clan. Nobody really noticed. It wasn't really a higher up.
So am I supposed to go challenge the chief now?
I think so.
Beecham's like waking up.
It's.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Right? It's been a long time since I had a good sleep in the barn.
I've always prided myself with being able to sleep just about anywhere. When you spend a lot of time on board a ship, you get used to sleeping in, well, violent weather, but I must say that was most needed.
Just
really,
wait till
we
have a
spent
bed.
so long sleeping in that fancy house back in Rockhelm.
I miss Rockhelm now. So cozy, even though we did have to listen to a bunch of people complain.
Yes, it's one of those unfortunate things. The further north you travel, the less people seem to bother with you, but the more the weather does.
Beecham, we need to get provisions from this town if we can, right? Walking anywhere up here, right? Horse or something.
Well, I can tell you livestock is an absolute premium to these people because, well, it is literally the difference between life or death for some of them, so it's going to be very difficult to acquire horses. And as you've probably noticed, there is no store or trade hall. So anything that you want that cannot be purchased with coin at a local tavern is pretty much going to have to come from the villagers themselves. And as you've seen, they're incredibly pleasant individuals and very easy to deal with.
I guess the first thing I'm just trying to figure out is where, if we had everything we wanted to travel abroad in this frozen hellhole, pardon my Arconis language, where do we need to go? I know that the different groups and factions are to like the east of here, kind of vying for the same land, and that's causing some of the contention conflict, right?
Correct, yes.
So I guess that's where we would need to go to try to come to some terms or see if we can bring about peace or cooperation.
This is your speciality. See, this is why you're here. So, you tell me.
This is so...
Radovan, we need to start building up our reputation here so people respect us. We need stories to spread. We need people to think we're more than what we are, as people in Arconis do.
So you want us to basically go from clan to clan down here and just unite them? Basically go to each of them, earn their respect, earn our worth and our purpose as outsiders, and then say, all of you, follow me, and we'll have some summit or something? I just don't...
Well, to be honest, that's not the stupidest idea I've heard. As hostile as these clan folk are, if we can earn friends along the way, should a call to arms be needed, it might be a lot easier to get people to come round to your way of thinking if they can tolerate you.
So any way we can help, obviously every place won't be a fist fight, but maybe there's something we can do for them in each town, something different.
So, go to the chieftain, not challenging him right off the bat, but asking him, is there any problems you guys have? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Remember all those quests, those crazy quests we went on, and when we first met each other, finding plants and healing people. Maybe there's something similar they want us to do. I don't know.
But those were evil cultists trying to manipulate us.
I know, they were the worst, but maybe these have normal problems that we can help.
Right, they just
Monsters
shit themselves
we can fight,
drunkenly.
You know? We can kill things.
Yeah, maybe
Giving
all you
somebody
need to
an
do
ass
to win
beating
favors
sounds a lot
here is
easier.
wipe their backsides. Who knows?
I'm sure we could get rid of any problems that they have if it's in regards to monsters or, outside threats.
And with that, we can possibly leverage gear that they would be willing to part with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably a splendid idea. Don't expect these very proud folk, however, to ask for help from strangers readily.
Perhaps we can sit around and try to listen for the gossip about problems along the road.
Can you understand them?
Yeah, that's what.
Well, no. Radovan, can't you cast some spell to understand people?
I can, but they're technically speaking common, so
They are?
it's just
It's not
they have their own dialect and slang. We just don't know the slang. I mean, it's like if I went to someone and said "shabooty," I know what it means. You guys do know what it means.
Do you?
James is for. James, you said you could understand some of it.
I can, yes.
So...
But I must say, you also seem to have done remarkably well at figuring some of it out.
Yeah.
Well, mostly insults leveraged at me. But, yeah, fair enough.
Well, yes,
We need to listen to the rumors. Who tells the most rumors around here?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. But I'm sure if you want to listen to tall tales, the tavern's the place to do it.
And I imagine that there are people in the tavern, even so early as now, getting drunk off their ass.
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, this looks like a farming community, and in this kind of weather, there's not exactly much in the way of crops to be tending. Obviously, they have livestock to take care of, but who knows
We'll just
what
go to the chieftain and tell him what we need. Tell him we'll work for it, because we know it's not something that can be readily purchased.
I'd be okay with that, Marlo.
And if he calls me an arse face, I'll punch his face in, and then he'll give us what we want.
I think both of those ideas are good. We either go to the tavern and try to listen in on people talking, or go to the chieftain and ask outright. Although, as Beecham said, that might be a harder thing to get. But I'm willing to try it.
You said either thing was good. I thought you were talking about me punching somebody's face in.
Well, obviously not punching the chieftain in the face for no real reason. Marlo, you do not have a horse face. You're attractive enough. It's fine.
Horse face? So you think I have a horse face?
No.
Horse face.
No, Marlo. I think your face is. You're an attractive person. Okay.
Radovan digging his hole.
Radovan, how do you really feel about Marlo?
Huh?
I don't stare you down. How do you really feel about Marlo?
Oh my God, Kia, stop. Let's
We're
just
good
go.
friends.
Chieftain or tavern. Make your choice, guys. We can get food in the tavern, right? So
Start in the tavern.
Tavern.
Listen around.
Breakfast does sound like a great way to start.
all right. Well, Kia's paying, so let's go.
Excuse me?
I'm gonna give James a nice pat on the shoulder as I walk out.
Alrighty. Okay.
Brush Radovan on the side as I walk by briskly. Give him an eye.
Okie dokie. So you re-enter the tavern this morning.
I'd probably take a seat more here this time, so I can hear people better. Oh, nobody's there. Okay.
No, there are a few people, but it is nowhere near as frequented as it was last night, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, the wind, of course, has died way down. Now you're inside. Okay.
grab a seat. Just gonna eye the place to see who's in there and what the situation is.
All right. Well, there's the Senshai who is in the corner with his bagpipes. Other than that, there's really only 4 patrons in here, all of which seem to be fairly young. I doubt any of them. They're probably all. There's actually 5 total people, other than the barman himself. I doubt any of them are any younger than 18, but probably no later than their mid-20s.
Okay. This isn't gonna work.
Most of them are just doing the same sort of thing you were doing, getting breakfast.
Being
There's,
nosy.
there's no one grouped up with other people. They're all alone.
Right.
So,
Suppose we could go the chief route first.
well, let's get food and
Yes, I will order everyone food, as apparently I'm paying,
Okay.
and get that
All
over
right.
with.
So, breakfast is bread and cheese or hot broth. Those are your choices.
Bread and cheese.
Blainewes, thanks for the hello, buddy. Okay. So basically, he brings over a big wedge of cheese and a whole loaf of bread and just sits it down on the table, and he says, "That'll be 2 copper."
I'll hand him 2 copper.
Right, takes it, puts it in his apron, and wanders back behind the bar.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys know where the chief lives. Or if you want to go knocking.
Well, you need to make sure you get your terminology correct, first of all. Chief or chieftain?
Chieftain. Chieftain.
are there any customs that we should do when we address him?
Not a
Draconis-
chieftain, other than, acknowledging he is who he is.
Okay.
He is basically a McCullum that is potentially in line to become chief or war chief.
I see. So
But
do we
they are
dress as
nowhere
Chieftain
near as
McCullum?
they don't stand on airs and graces anywhere near as much as Arconians do. But
thank
they are
God.
quicker to draw a sword and stab you should you insult them. Just bear that in mind.
Keep that in mind.
I'm gonna look directly at him.
Marlowe.
You won't get any "how dare yous" or "I've never been so insulted in all my lives" up here. You'll just get
The one that walks around calling
5 or
people
6.
arseface, okay?
You'll just get kind of a 5 or 6 second stare down, followed by about 3 inches of cold steel.
Yikes.
So as Beecham is saying this, is this guy over here? What's he doing next to me?
He is actually sharpening what appears to be a basket-hilted sword.
Is he eating anything, or is
He has an empty plate in front of him, an empty bowl that looked like it had something in it at some point.
okay.
And he's got a mug that's got some steam rising up above it.
So
And you
I'm
notice
going
there's
to-
like a piece of iron sticking out of the mug.
All right. I'm going to try to get his attention.
So yeah, he's just like,
as-
shh, 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 just sliding it all the way down the length of the blade and periodically stopping to turn it and look at it.
I'm going to try to get his. I'm going to be obviously looking in his direction, waiting for him to acknowledge that I exist. Basically, initially.
All right. Well, he kind of glances up and sees you the first time and looks back down, carries on,
So-
and then he glances up again and sees you still looking. Okay, so
gonna-
once you wave at him, he
I'm
says,
waving this time.
"All right."
Just care to join us? We have food here. Welcome to. Maybe a drink.
It's got one here, thanks.
Well,
And
one to
I've
follow.
already ate my brekkie.
Already ate his breakfast.
Do you mumble that to yourself?
I'm translating it in my mind. You guys hear me say, "Oh, yeah, his breakfast." Right?
You got
Oh.
it then.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want another drink, you're welcome to join us.
What are you getting at?
Says, "Hey,
Evan?
appreciate it. Appreciate it."
Are you trying to get him to come over here and talk to us?
And then he You see him kind of like hold the small iron bar out to the side and drink some of whatever's in the liquid that's in there and puts it back down and carries on sharpening his blade.
Just tell him we're out of town and you'll pay.
I don't think we need to say we're from out of town. I think it's kind of obvious.
You guys, none of you kind of look anything like these dudes.
But what's your name, sir? Across the table.
Me?
Yeah.
Rory.
My name's Radovan.
Rory McCallum.
McCallum. What a fine, strong name that is. My name's Rainier. It's lame in comparison.
He says, never heard of the clan Rainier before. You're not from around here, are you?
No, and it's just me.
Give him a scar. Thanks for the cheer, bud.
As far as I know, I'm the only Rainier. We aren't from out of town. I'm actually looking for my family.
So what tune you from then?
Far, far away. I'm gonna look at Marlo and Kia.
Fujinami.
We're from Fujinami.
Far to the north.
Far to the north.
Took you a while to think of that one, didn't it, you numpty? You had a wee few too many drams last night, do you?
What's that? What? I don't think that's what he said.
I think he asked if you had too much to drink last night.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna nod and do the
He said, "Oh yeah." He goes, "You're the Jackie that come in last night, eh?"
Yes, just arrived. Slept in a barn. Comfortable. Good.
He says, "Oh." He says, "And you?" He says, "You're that lassie that drank Brennan under the table."
You know of it already?
I'm gonna look at Radovan and then go.
He said, "Aye." He goes, "I was sitting there with me mate last night and I watched the whole thing go down. I said to him, I said, never seen a lassie drink like that before." He said, "Mind you, Brennan's a bit of a lightweight, so he is. And he'd already had 2 or 3 jars for you guying."
Yeah, that's true. I'd be willing to do it again, though.
He says, "Well, I don't have the coin for such a drinking competition myself, so we'll have to pass on that one for me."
That's okay. Say, do you know what the chieftain is up to right now?
Chieftain?
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, there's more than one here?
Aye.
How many?
He said, "Well, there's 2 that live here in the village." He said, "But typically only one of them's here. Usually the others are, the other one is off with the, visiting with the chief. They kind of rotate out."
So who's here right now?
Alistair was here last night. So he's probably still here this morning.
Do you know which home he presides in?
He says, "Aye. If you're first coming into town from the west, it'd be the first one on your left."
Interesting. And would he mind visitors this early, or should we wait?
Alistair had a few too many jars, I think, himself last night, so I'd probably wait until the sun gets up a little bit before you go banging on that door.
That's fair. I don't want to catch him in a bad mood.
Has anything been happening in town lately? Anything
Happening? Like what?
like trouble or
Trouble.
anything of that sort? I don't know. I mean,
Trouble.
We're from out of town, but we want to be helpful.
Yes! Aye! He said, "So, Lorna caught Tavish fooling around with Nessa." Resub, Deluded Raven, thank you for hitting the resub button, my friend. We are very much appreciative. Spam your pants off and spam your hype.
Thank you, Raven. Can you say that again, or were you cut out?
Oh, I'm sorry. Alright. He says, Lorna caught Tavish fooling around with Nessa. Oh, it was a right big barn pot going on in the middle of town 3 or 4 days ago. She was chasing him up and down the street with a broom, screaming at the top of her lungs. He said,
I guess
all the Clan McCullum know how to handle a blade, and they're all right scrappers, but when it comes to dealing with the lassies, well, nothing more fearsome than a pissed off, agitated woman. No offense.
I guess what I'm more so
I'd
asking
drink to
is
that.
any trouble on the roads between clans, any problems you've been facing?
Not that I know of.
Good.
McCullum's a pretty peaceful lot. Not been any feuds or any clan wars or upsets for nigh on 3 years.
And have you heard anything from over east? Conflicts and over land particularly? Or you guys are staying well enough away from it and peacefully living?
Don't tend to head out east that much. Get too close to the highlands and they're a rough lot.
Well, we were looking honestly to go out there eventually, and we kind of lost our horse to the weather, if you will.
He said, well, if you're planning on heading out east, no one can be calling you Jesse, that's for sure. Not anymore, anyway.
Yeah, but go out there on foot, we're likely gonna die. So we were hoping to help this village in any way we can and trade, if you will.
Trade? What you bring for trade then? And if you're looking to trade, then either the gaffer behind the bar here, if it's anything you could service this place with, or Alistair McCullum would be the man to see.
Fair enough. We really bring ourselves. We're quite skilled at many different trades and crafts, if you will.
Oh, really? So
You
what
offer
kind of
services.
trades you do then? You carpenters, are you? Smithies?
We're warriors, fighters.
Are you? Is that right?
Yes, we are.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Willing to prove ourselves to you guys.
It's one thing that the average clan around here is not sure of. It's warriors.
Understand. Our skill set is particular. We have refined skills and talents.
Aye, but dinna fash. It's nothing we need anything of that down. I sorry, you need the area.
We have a particular set of skills that we've studied.
Pretty much. I didn't want to say it like specifically.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Good luck. Okay.
He says, but if you can cobble, if you can build, if you have any kind of, honest to goodness trade, then there may be of use for you.
Well, are you guys have a shortage of water, perhaps? Or the snow, I guess.
He says, well, we have a well out back. Of course, someone has to go and smash it clean every morning, but beyond that, we've got fresh water, aye.
Do you need anything mended?
He kind of looks at his clothes.
The town, not
Nope.
just you. Just
He says, well, when it comes to run-of-the-mill stuff like that, most people are dab-hand at keeping up things themselves.
You guys are very self-sufficient. It's an admirable.
When you're stuck out here in the middle of nowhere, you're either self-suffice or you starve and die.
In Fujinama, what the fuck is it called again?
Janami.
He says,
Fujinami.
with that, he kind of looks at Marlowe and he says, this fella, is he alright in the heat?
Sometimes I wonder.
He says, because
But he gets hit a lot.
Seems to be a little bit of a roaster. Doesn't even seem to know where he come from.
I'm gonna give like a very stern look at Beecham. Because he suggested to us that we don't say where we're actually from. He's been screwing him up. Just gonna go quiet. Eat my cheese.
Eat
we'll go to the chief.
Well, as soon as the conversation stops, he kind of like realizes, he says, you have a good day. And goes back to sharpen his blade and keeps like glancing over at you a little bit strangely as he's doing so. Keeping like one eye on you guys.
By the grace of Cuthbert, I can conjure blades, barriers with my hands, with his grace and his will. And skewer charging rhinoceroses, and here I'm being called a dunderhead for like the 10th time today.
Well, do you want me to carve it into your hand? Fujinami.
Too cold for me to think about that place. I'm sorry. I'll get it in my head. I don't know why. I just haven't had to say it for so long with you. So focused on Arconis' affairs. Okay, we'll see the chief, I guess. The chieftain.
Alrighty.
We'll wait till it's not so morning.
Not so morning.
Not so morning. Okay, so you're going to wait just a little while and then head down the street or whatever. Okay. Back out to Dunedain. So which house are you going to?
This one.
Alright. Oh, what am I doing? I'm going to the wrong
We never
mapping.
know.
Nope, right.
I think that was the one, right? You said if you're coming east, first on the left.
He did. And it's Calamity. Thank you for the follow.
Thank you.
Alrighty, okay. So you head back out into the freezing cold winter. And head down the street. Okay, well, there's a few people are outside now. You can see a couple of them are like banging with nails on their walls and stuff like that, fixing any gaps that were allowing the frost and the cold air to get through. Some people are cutting up firewood that kind of are right across the street from the tavern. You see them kind of like hacking away, and people are coming over and handing them like a copper piece and walking away with a big old pile of wood. Jeep, thanks for the cheer, bud.
Nice. Thanks, Jeep.
Alrighty. By the time you get there, you can see a fellow that you recognize as kind of like emerge from the house, probably about 60 or 70 feet before you arrive. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit so people can see.
Is it Chieftain Alistair?
It is the guy. Looking at him, if he does have, he has the little clan badge that does have the 2 eagle feathers on it. Yes.
Okay. We approach.
All right.
Excuse me.
He's kind of scratching his backside as you approach him, and then he's like, ugh, cracks his back, and then you notice him go, and instinctively sniffs his hand.
Chieftain.
He kind of looks at you and he says, "Good day,
Good day.
Alistair McCullum, and you are."
My name's Kiliana.
Radovan Rainier.
Marlo Rayfell.
And this is good friend is James Beecham.
A pleasure to meet you. You all in the tavern last night?
Yes, I think we spotted you.
What do you think of the whiskey?
A very good
Top
whiskey.
shelf.
Well, it's delicious, to be honest. The best I've ever had.
Yeah, you obviously dirty. Never mind.
You can't say anything right.
Yeah. I totally have that face of like absolute.
With that, he
frustration.
kind of leans in close to you guys, and he still stinks. Not only of whiskey, but just stinks in general.
Oh boy.
But that's not uncommon from around here.
Just
And considering
aren't
the
they
fact that-
majestic people.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell do they have to be clean for? You know, taking a bath is something they do rarely, and definitely not when it's freezing cold out. He says, to be honest, the local whiskey tastes like pish. But that's all we got, see?
Ironic you should say. We were bringing up some whiskey from our travels, but we were forced to leave it behind.
Bringing up?
Yes. Well, from outside. Oh God.
From outside? So where are you from? You see, as you say that, Beecham kind of like elbows you in the ribs as you say bringing up. And he said, with which point Beecham is kind of like looking at you wide-eyed, like, say something.
From the west. From the west. Oh, fuck.
We've been traveling, you see. We're from Fujinami, which isn't down,
Well,
it's up, but...
Was northwest, it's north, but we came in from the west.
So what happened to your whiskey?
We were forced to leave it behind in the wagon as we were attacked by some creatures.
They ate our horse.
Unfortunately.
Aye.
We were gonna...
I would indeed call that unfortunate. We all seem to have kept your heed, so I suppose that's one blessing.
I mean, it's still there.
Sure. Does alcohol freeze?
No.
No.
Okay, so
Not if it's of a decent alcohol percentage, no.
If it freezes, then you got taken.
then
It's a solid week away, I'm afraid.
I had one freeze before. It was bad. A week away.
Well, I mean, by walking, remember? I mean, it took us like 8 days after we...
So, you come here last night. You stayed here last night. You're still here this morning.
Yes.
So what's your business down here in Dunadoon then?
I don't know.
Honestly, we need to...
You don't know?
We need...
Oh, you had a bunch of numpties, are you?
What was that, Radman?
We are looking to travel to the east.
And?
I seek adventure and reputation for myself. I don't know what they're doing.
I am here to find my family.
Oh! So who's your family then? Who's your ma? Who's your da?
I don't know.
Okay.
You don't know a lot, do you? Don't know where he's from. Don't know why you're here. Don't know his man dies.
I was
A
an
strange
orphan
lot, you
when I
foreigners.
was a kid. Yes, I was an orphan.
I was an orange when I was a kid.
We are all here for different reasons, and they have brought us together. We've become good friends in our travels. So we were all heading to the same area.
Is that why you're here in Dunadoon then? Make friends?
I don't necessarily want to make friends, but I want to be known. I want to be remembered.
He says, aye, well, there's plenty of ways to do that around here.
How so?
Well, I remember not too long ago, Colonel McCullum thought he could do a handstand on top of the well. Slipped in the ice, fell straight down. Took us about 30 minutes to grab the numpty and drag him out by rope. Ain't nobody forgotten that fool for a long time, that's for sure. So if you want to be known, well, all you gotta do is do something to make people remember your name.
How's your fighting skills?
Mine?
Yeah.
Aye. I'm pretty good. I'm a dab hand, so I am.
Who's the strongest warrior in this little village?
You know, you could ask every man the same question and get a different answer, and every one of them will tell you their own name.
Marlo here is actually a fighter herself.
Oh, really?
She's honestly the best fighter of us.
Well, that don't say a lot for you then, does it, lad?
I have other skills and talents. I'm just gonna give this like smirk. I'm not out to prove myself anything. So think me a dunderhead all you want. It's fine with me. I don't care.
He says, oh, I don't think you're dunder here for not wanting to fight. I think you're dunder here for not knowing where the hell you come from or what the hell you're doing.
Fair enough. I will accept that. That is accurate. It's just been a long couple of weeks of cold, frozen travel. We lost our horse. We lost a lot of our supplies. Honestly, I feel for the first time in a long time a little in over my head. And that's saying something considering what I've been through in my life.
So,
Last time I felt this way, we were...
Are you looking to resupply? Is that what you're doing? And
yes,
with that, Beecham kind of like puts his hand on Radovan's shoulder, and pushes himself in front, almost with like a desperation move, and says, "Yes, that's exactly what we need. As we mentioned, we're trying to head eastward. We no longer have transport, which of course I know it's unreasonable to expect to acquire such, but we could do with a few things, travel, possessions, and my friends here, they come well endowed with coin."
That's one way to say it, James.
He says, "So what do you need then?"
A horse, mainly.
He says, "Well, coin is not going to buy a horse here, and ain't nobody got a cart."
So how...
You have a horse?
Aye, but no one's going to sell you a darn horse.
So how do you guys travel in this cold, unforgiving land?
As little as possible.
What about when you do? When you have to go meet the chief, what do you do?
He says, well, of course, I have a horse that I use to go, to go about my business. But I hear that there Nessie is not for sale, you understand?
You guys have trade caravans or anything of that sort that we could...
When we want to trade, we travel. No one's going to come to a flea-bitten dung hole like this. We have to go find what we want. But of course, it's not uncommon when the weather gets a bit better for people to, go walk. Walk 50, 60, 100 mile or more.
And what's the next closest village to here?
Village?
Or
well, this is
town?
hardly a village. Planned settlement like this, you mean?
Yes.
Well, if you head northwest to the coast, then you can find some phrases. Mostly fishermen but it's about 50 mile. If you head west, you have to head through the forest.
West.
On the other side of the forest, of course, there's a much larger settlement.
And
what's that called?
Oh, what, to the west?
Yes.
He says, well, if you head west and travel through the forest to the other side, then you can get to Scanebrook.
And where does the chief live? I mean, is it in a village or...
McCallum.
Yes.
Yes.
Like 10 mile north of here.
Oh.
In a settlement settlement like this, or...
No, he has his own estate. He doesn't live with the common folk.
Is there a road that leads up there, or is it just...
No, you just make your way across land.
Understood. 10 miles? That's not too far.
I wouldn't have go knocking on the chief's door if I were you.
I imagine, yes, that probably sounds about accurate. That sounds right.
So, if there's something you need, something you need to travel, let me know what it is. If I can help you, I will.
Well, thank you, sir.
But
very kind of you.
Horses, mules, donkeys, nothing like that available here.
I'm gonna look at everybody else. Anything else, guys?
I have nothing to say right now. Just kind of look down. Thank you, Captain Alistair.
Hi, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. We won't take any more of your time.
He kind of like walks past you as if he's heading down the street towards the other end, and he keeps like looking over his shoulder and scowling at you as he does so, like shaking his head and looks very, very confused and somewhat concerned and bewildered all at the same time.
That was not the best.
I'm sorry, guys.
They're not giving us much to work with, Radovan. It's okay.
I know, but I don't like lying. It feels to me needless, but I guess what Beecham said, it makes sense. It's just... I can't get my directions straight with these
I merely said
tales.
Probably would be not best to tell them where you come from. I didn't say not to tell them why you're here.
Right, but why we're here is just as vague as... because there's...
If we told them why we were here, wouldn't they know where we came from?
Well, not necessarily. You said you come from Fujinami. I doubt
Yes,
any
but-
of them know anything of Fujinami, so I very much doubt they're likely to question that.
Beecham, I understand. It's just... It's kind of hard to come in and saying, hey, we're here to get respect and get, a following or support in our way, when they're all self-sufficient anyway, don't trust outsiders, and we don't have any trade or skill that we could...
Ninja, thanks for the resub, buddy. Appreciate it,
They
man.
don't really need our help.
Hey, as I said,
Yeah.
I defer to your diplomatic expertise.
Right, but when we had a war going on, we became famous as diplomats because the king basically said, go out there and try to recruit these groups. Some of which we were successful at, some of which we were not. It's just, but there was to a point. These,
I guess we don't really know for
settlement.
recruiting. We're just trying to gain
Right.
respect. We're not trying to recruit them to any kind of war. We're trying to prevent a war.
Right.
Well, it looks to me like we're in the wrong place.
Yes, I agree.
Well, this, of course, is just the first settlement that we've come to.
Yes.
One
think
thing
we
I
should keep
can
heading.
tell you with clan social interactions, to get any kind of, to not be treated quite so outwardly initially, it's often a good idea to have a name or somebody that can recommend you, or at least to be acquainted with somebody that may be friendly with the clan that you're trying to associate with. Of course, this is not an easy thing, because it's kind of a chicken and egg scenario. In order to win somebody over, you have to be favorably viewed upon. To be favorably viewed upon, it's often a lot easier if somebody has already recommended you, or is friendly.
I understand.
So you're saying I should have hit him?
No. Definitely not. Striking a war chief, a chieftain, in anger would most certainly result in bloodshed. No. Don't
Oh,
just
well, I
hit
wouldn't
anybody.
be angry.
But
And I would have told him I was going to do it.
well, that's different.
So what we really need to do at this point in time, because I'm sure we can stay in the barn again. I mean, at least we have a place to stay, at least temporarily. Is we need to find someone in this town who is not as proud as everyone else, which is a tall order, I grant you. Find them in desperate need of something, help them out, and get on their good side that way.
Well, you could.
Not just going up to people and saying, "Hey, we're talented in X, Y, and Z, and we're here to help," because that obviously is not working, and I'm screwing that up.
Well, no, they all have their own. Clansmen do tend to have rather exaggerated egos, that's for sure.
Right.
So if you're going to bruise them, you have to be very careful in how you do it and make sure that there's a reason for it.
Okay.
But
I made a guy shit himself last night. There was no reason for that.
But
Night Striker, thanks for the cheer, buddy.
you did get recognition.
Well, thank you here properly in just a second. We're facing to go to break, even though it's been way past. He says, well, and you also at least did... Alistair McCullum did say if we could tell him what we wanted, he'd be willing to help. We just...
Well, what we want is
didn't
a cart
say
and a
anything.
horse, but we can't help with that.
What we want, we can't get. So we're going to be
Well,
traveling...
no, if what you want is a horse and cart, then no, that's something we're not going to get.
Perhaps we can ask... Would he take offense if we just blatantly said what we want is to be favored by you and use your name as
Well,
recommendation?
you can ask. Maybe he'll have conditions, maybe he'll laugh, maybe he'll be offended. I really don't know, but that's why you're the diplomats, you see. I really had assumed that you were more talented at gauging people than this.
No.
I just punch things.
Beecham,
Set things on fire.
you gotta understand, the circumstances of our diplomatic titles was quite extraordinary and not normal.
Well,
We are as commoner in our upbringing in our lives as you are. We just did something in a time where it needed to be done, and spoke and managed to get strange people not even of this plane of existence, to support and help us.
Right.
These people are people.
Well,
They're not
exactly.
It's a read.
It's more
That's
rare
exactly
to find
it.
people with warriors in the villages back home, or back in Arconis. Here, not so much. So we don't really have anything to offer them that they can't do themselves.
But, I mean, during the war, is that how you won people to the King's Banner? By fighting for them? Telling them you could beat something up?
Well,
How
let's see.
did we get anybody to join us?
I know, it's a miracle, isn't it? He's like,
Well,
I
the
mean,
Giths-
as you
so
just said.
Beecham, come. So the Githzari were xenophobic, very prideful, didn't speak much, were quick to offend. I gave them my shield because they were procuring shields from fine weaponsmiths, armor smiths in Arconis. I gave them this shield that I have here, and apparently that broke through that barrier and they saw some worth in us. The High Elves we failed to get because we were stupid on that one. And we
We were at
offended
an
the king
extreme disadvantage in the case of that.
because Risa was, yes, an illegitimate daughter of both, and we brought her along, and the High Elf King didn't like her. The Fae we technically got, but we also had burned down part of the forest northwest of Rockhelm because of someone in this party. And we went to court and proved that it was not an intentional act and it was a misunderstanding. And they agreed to be a vanguard for the Arconis forces out of Neridian. But we subjected ourselves to their laws, and the Verdant Prince was not a very nice guy. He was kind of a dick. That's how we did it.
Right. So what you've just described is infinitely more difficult dealing with xenophobic alien races and strange woodland creatures, and somehow you managed to do that, and yet here you are dealing with just regular, ordinary people.
These are not regular, ordinary people. These are people who have a lifestyle I don't understand, and they're human. That's the
Right.
difference. The Githzari are alien creatures. I don't understand them, so I
So
can
at
talk to
least
them.
you're more you have a stronger commonality with these folks, surely.
This
These
is
are
sounding
people,
awfully
much
familiar.
like you. This seems like this is exactly the sort of thing that you're skilled at. From everything you've just told me, this should be easily within your realm of abilities. Just
We need to befriend one of the people.
We do.
right. And you said with the Githzari, you broke the ice by giving them something they needed. Which I do recall was the reason we brought the whiskey, but of course this is no point crying over spilt milk. So maybe now we need to find something else that they do need that you can provide.
We just need to find one of them that can help us, Radovan. It's just one person that needs something. That's how I got along in Arconis.
So how about we spend the rest of the day sitting in the tavern, just listening to everybody come in and out, listening for any stories, and talking to someone if they seem interesting and have something to say. What else are we going to do?
And if all else fails, just maybe stroll up to Alistair and tell him what you want. Other than a horse and cart,
Fine.
because that's something we can't have.
But I'm not going to be the one to say it.
Okay. I guess we go back to the tavern and just spend the whole day there?
Sit there all day. Eat. We'll order drinks.
It could be worse.
So like they don't get mad at us for sitting there.
Okay.
We'll spend money.
All right.
This was Marlo the entire Children of Jakar campaign, not understanding. Like,
Yeah, like shoes on the other foot now, isn't it? Okay, alrighty. So, you guys are going to head into the tavern once more. And we are going to take that brief opportunity to go ahead and take a short break. It's actually almost our second break, so we're just going to do one break and rotate out. You guys are back once again in the frigging tavern. What do you want to do? You're going to spend...
get comfy for the whole day.
Okay, well, Alistair McCallum is actually up at the bar eating breakfast himself, so he is here. Other than that, there's nobody else here that wasn't here earlier.
I could challenge Alistair to a drinking contest. That's old news. Everybody knows I can drink. It's not even fun for me anymore.
No one knows.
Yeah, you're a terrible hustler. You should have at least acted like you were losing. Totally terrible hustle.
Right?
It's like still early morning, right?
It's like mid-morning.
Shit.
But hey, you know what? If you just want to spend the day in the tavern and stay warm, have a nice meal, a couple of drinks, and piss the afternoon away, you certainly can.
I think we have
Might
to.
as well. We're gonna spend the next 3 months walking through the forest.
We gotta look for our friendly faces or gossipers.
Okay.
So
is that what you're
stay
going to
there
do?
all day.
Basically just hang?
Yeah, we're gonna waste the day away.
We need to start learning their language.
Well, we're gonna like listen very carefully the whole day.
Ah,
not
Jesus,
just, like
this
sit
asshole
there,
thing.
open up my elven ears so I can hear everything.
While we're waiting, I'm
Not
gonna
you,
say
get out.
I'm gonna ask Beecham a question that I'm curious about.
Them and their arm warmers.
All right. What do you want to ask him?
Beecham, you are aware that you know what Kia and myself can do. Is that sort of thing? I mean, obviously that can't be common up here, but does there any prejudice or particular
Well,
distrust about it?
quite honestly, yes, there really is. Most of them, you see, they follow a very different set of... Not so much here. I understand here in the lowlands, they're not very religious. They don't really have priests as such. Gods are more or less unbeknown to them. They're more or less a, the power is in the man type people.
Hell yeah!
Now the Valkyrie, on the other hand,
like
they
it.
follow a very weird and strange pantheon of gods. None of which are followed in Arconus. In fact, I would almost go as far as to say that you could possibly be considered a heretic when we get there. So you might want to keep your magical wavings and
Why don't we just save time and let Cuthbert smite them all for being heretics?
Oh, he's a fan of the law. If it's their law,
yes, Cuthbert is he's a fairly unique god in the fact that he respects the laws of man as long as they are
reasonable.
Reasonable,
Sensible.
exactly. Yes.
But so if Keo right here, right now, was to stand up and say, "I'm going to put on a show and just do a bunch of magic tricks," if you were,
it probably wouldn't go down very well. They would, at best, view you with extreme suspicion. At worst, probably burn you as a witch.
Great. Is that a
You're not a
joke?
witch, are you?
Do I look like a witch? Of course I'm a witch.
But she looks like one! We did do the nose and that.
I suppose my face tattoo doesn't help.
I've never seen one before.
Well, as you say that, he says, well, strangely enough, when it comes to the Highland folk, you'll probably find you fit in remarkably well, because they're very fond of face painting.
Oh, really?
What colour is your face paint? Is it blue?
It's black.
Black, okay, that's right.
What are you, a goth? What's going on?
What? I got that tattoo on me.
Oh, that's very emotional.
We've all seen it.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself.
Tattoos are generally black. Is there such a
Hey, make sure you don't get your goths, your vamps, and, you know, your emos confused here, Shaggy, because you're going to offend some group.
I know, I'm sorry.
You're seeing kids.
Yep.
There's a bunch of different ones.
So he says, no, up in the north, they adorn themselves with blue war paint. They find it very fetching. So they'll probably approve of you up there.
Good to know.
No.
Of course, they don't have the ears like you do.
No. Okay, so what if someone got into fisticuffs here and got severely beaten up, and I decided to heal them? That's doing something beneficial. Would that still be seen as suspicious and untrustworthy, even though it was for beneficial points?
Some of the more primitive clans may see it that way. I mean,
It's a primitive clan.
Oh, they shat themselves. What do you think, Kia?
Oh, Radovan.
Cultured clans don't. Let's be real here.
Anyone who's drunk
Back at the
enough might do
temple.
that.
Back at the temple, I mean, we're of course we train to be able to heal ourselves with our own energy, but unless it was a life or death thing, usually after we got into fights, we healed naturally because that was what made you stronger.
Of course, and I'm just trying to find a potential in that I could do that doesn't resort to challenging people like you would do. You understand? I was just trying to find a way that I could be of use. Like if wolves attacked this place, and people were getting hurt, I would heal them without hesitation and without considering how they would view it. I would just try to save as many lives as I can while you punch the wolves to death. Just trying to find my place here. Since diplomacy, the first time I'm a little rusty with it. Just going for a whole year going into towns and saying to people, you do this, you do that, let's do this, let's fix that, be reasonable here. Castrate that person there. Can't do that anymore.
Those
And
were the good old days.
Don't have my armor anymore. I'm still trying to get used to that too. So I apologize. Not trying to make things worse or awkward. It's just. Oh, here he goes.
Oh, here we go. Sounds great. Alright. I'm gonna continue what I've planned on doing all day. So,
Start listening in on people.
yeah.
What do your elf ears?
Well, I'll tell you.
I'm straining.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna start listening
You
to the
fixing
table
to
next
shat
to me.
yourself?
Right, I'm listening so hard. Have you ever listened so hard?
All right.
Yes.
Honestly, the conversations are mind-numbingly boring. They're talking about sheep. They're talking about when the frost thaws. A couple of people are putting wagers on when that will be. They're having discussions about who, dare I say it, who the better shag is, Lorna or Nessie. None of which is particularly...
Isn't Nessie the name of the horse?
Nessie is the name of one of those two girls that was here earlier and yesterday evening here in the town. But there was a lot of discussion about riding Nessies and riding Nessie, so maybe there could be some confusion there for sure.
Huh. These people are
But yeah, I
boring.
mean, this village, this settlement, if you want to call it a settlement, because it's really not even a village, because it has nothing going on here. It just doesn't seem to be bothered by anything. It's like they don't have any problems. They're so simple and so basic. They just exist. You know, like by Arconian standards, they really are the lowest of the low when it comes to peasants. They're absolutely basic.
We could move on to the next clan.
So we go to the chieftain the next day.
Well, he's right here. If you want to approach him, well, he was eating in the morning, but you're waiting all day. So I mean, he might like a bit of bread and cheese as much as the next guy for breakfast, but the odds are he's going to stop eating at some point.
So, without a horse, without a cart or a wagon,
or is he
traveling on foot in the cold? He's huge.
Hey, he didn't stop eating. That's what happened.
He's super tiny.
I'll save the town outcast to reduce person. Okay. Surviving in the cold together. What do we really need? Shovels or hose, right?
We need firewood for one.
Firewood, but we have to.
Hose, they only got 2.
Firewood. It looked like you can buy firewood an armful for a copper outside. You know, I mean, you saw people walking up and paying a copper piece for an armful of firewood, so you can probably achieve that. Carrying it, on the other hand.
Are there any like small like hand carts that we could pull just with us?
I mean, again, there's no store, so you've seen nothing for sale, except the only things that you've seen for sale are cheap, non-interesting, basic food, whiskey, ale.
It tastes like pish.
It tastes like pash, right? So yeah, I mean, you've seen nothing for sale. Now that doesn't mean that people don't own things that they may be willing to sell or barter for, but...
So we need some way to break into the tundra so we can dig a hole, because that'll get the wind off our back when we try to sleep at night. Right? With the tent I have. I guess we'll all have to sleep together again. But we've been doing that already, so that's not a problem.
Well, I could always use my magic to dig underneath things. Explosions.
Then we do have a lot of supplies that we salvaged and brought with us. Food and water I can prepare and we can sustain that way. It won't be the most delicious meals in the world, but it'll be enough to sustain us as we travel, so we don't have to carry extra grain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess we travel eastward, I guess, because that's where we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can go to the Highlands if you want, but no, that's not gonna work.
Well, if you think you're ready for the Scottish Highlands, just saying there, I've always found the Lowlanders positively polite and couth compared to the Highlanders.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Instead of calling me arseface, he'll just spit on me.
He said, great sign of affection in the Highlands, if you're spat on.
We need to go to the other clans, not the Highlanders right now.
So you want to go through the forest to the west?
I
to the coast?
Was that the only direction that there were clans?
Well,
clans everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have to understand, here in the lowlands, every village, every hovel, every town, every settlement is going to be predominantly run by one clan or a t'other. Here it's the McCallums. I do believe that they said that eastward, through the forest was... they didn't say. I know they...
They just said westward through the forest.
No, eastward through the forest.
Oh, it's
I did correct myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, the did they call it Skainsbrook or Skanebrook? I don't know which clan dwells there, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to find out who they are and what they're like if that's where you want to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's on the way to where we need to go, so we'll just have to go through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And I did believe he said it was a much larger settlement, so maybe some of the things that you're looking for might be more available there.
All right, let's
If
do
there's
it.
forest, do you think we'd be able to get
Shelter?
wood?
Wood in a forest. Oh, probably
For
a very difficult
fires.
thing to acquire.
Trees are made of wood.
Oh, really? But I'm just saying, will it be too wet? From the snow and the rain?
I'm
To
sure.
make a fire.
Well, I'm sure with the
I'm not crazy here.
particular tinder that you possess, from what I
Yes.
saw when we were in the abandoned fortress, you any slightly damp wood would be quickly overcome by the heat that you would apply.
Yeah, I don't
We
think.
don't need to bring firewood with us, so that uses a lot from our packs.
Alright, so we leave in the morning?
Yes, I think all we really, if that's what you want to do, all that needs to be found out is who they are, what they're like, and what to expect.
Challenge somebody tonight so we can leave tomorrow.
We don't need to challenge anybody.
No, why not? Where this place is.
I think we should
Why
leave
not?
this peaceful family in peace.
I think
But-
they want a challenge. It looks like they want one.
I don't think they do. I think we should just ask the chieftain who these people are to the east, like Beecham suggested.
Fine.
So, Kia,
What?
go find out.
Me?
So, Kia, it's on you.
I'm not in the mood for such things.
So
You're a
somebody's
noble,
gotta
aren't
go
you?
talk to him. Noses.
You're a noble too.
Dealt with the Githzerii, and I have to deal with this. And
Why do I have to do it?
I'm just gonna get up and.
Night Striker, that's a cheer, buddy.
I win.
I win. Okay. You go sit down at the bar. Alright.
Evening or afternoon.
Alistair
What time
looks.
it is?
Yeah, it'll be back probably late afternoon by now.
Okay.
Alistair glances up and goes, late.
My friends and I are heading out tomorrow morning. We're heading east through the forest to the other settlements.
Do you know where you're going? I mean, you clearly don't know where you've been.
Granted, but you said it's through the forest to the east. So
The next
direct
settlements?
routes. The next settlements.
Ah, you see, you're going to
Skilder.
Skalder? No. Skalder? I don't know of no place called Skalder.
Well, what the name of the settlement, sir? What is it? 'Cause-
He's thinking
Skalder.
Skeldergate.
I totally have that in my mind right now.
He says, no, you're thinking of Scanebrook.
Scanebrook. Well, we would like information on the best way to get there and what family lives there.
He says, well,
Anything you can offer us?
to get there, travel east, out of down a dune, till you find the forest. As you approach, you'll see a clearing and a road that travels right through it. Travel the road. On the other side, head a little northwards, and you'll see the town of Scanebrook. And
Easy enough.
as for the name, 'tis the Skane family that lives there, the Skane clan.
Makes sense.
Aye, you think
And-
we were unfriendly? You wait till you meet those bastards.
Anything we could do to warm ourselves to them?
Well, McCullums and Skeans have never seen eye to eye. So I'd like to say that if you told them that you bore the well wishes of Alistair McCullum, it would do you some good service, but the truth is, it probably won't. In fact, probably do none of the above.
And
But
what if we were to say we were kicked out of McCollum's?
they probably assume that it was for good reason and kick you out of Scanebrook as well.
I see.
He says, but there was one Skeen that I was great friends with, Branagh Skeen, and he has no love for the rest of his own kin. In fact, if I remember right, about 5 or 6 years ago, Brannock moved out of Scanebrook and made himself home and hovel in the woods. Maybe if you went to Brannock and told him that you come from Alistair McCullum, he may at least be able to assist and give you some kind of, well, favourable in or favourable in with the Skane clan. And he is one of their own, even if he is chosen to be an outcast. Hey, nay, outcast isn't really the right word, because from what I recall, he was not outcast by the Skane clan. He chose to leave on his own will.
So, what exactly happened between you two that would cause this divide?
Well, between the McCullums and the Skanes.
Yeah, well, you would think you would want your neighbors to be on good
Now,
terms.
you have to understand, we have some fairly high-spirited youngsters in the McCullum family. And Wallace and Rory got accused of thieving cattle from the Skanes, which they never did, of course. No, never did at all. But they come looking for the cattle, and we had some cattle that had a really, well, curious brand. Part of the brand was very similar to that of the Skanes, but a burnt M was very clearly seen on those cattle, you understand. It was all a big misunderstanding. Anyway, since then, the Skanes have not looked overly favourable over the name of McCullum.
Would it,
All completely unfounded, of course.
and perhaps if we try to bring them around to this truth?
Well, truth is a very subjective thing, really. It depends on whose truth you believe. In our truth, we didn't steal any cattle. In their truth, we did.
Well, there are ways to find out the truth of things. So it's not
No. Let's not push and argue over what the real truth is. Let's let the past lie. Just let it lie.
Fair enough. I just if I had a neighbor that I had a feud with, I would hope that we would get resolved.
Aye, but you don't want to be
neighbors.
Drukit in truth. Being Drukit in truth is not somewhere we want to be right now.
Okay.
As I said, they'll show you no love if you come from the McCallums, but if you find Brannock, then maybe he can help you. Now, from what I recall, if you travel through the woods, after a day on the edge of the road, I do recall that there was a big old pile of slate. If you travel northwards from the slate, I think you'll find where Brannock lives. Built himself a cabin out there, so he did.
And is there anything else in the woods that we should be on the lookout for? Possible
Of
animals?
course there is. It's the woods. All kinds of manner of nasty, wicked beasties lie in the woods.
Fair enough. I was just wondering if there's any unique nasties that maybe we haven't encountered, my friends and I haven't encountered before.
Well, travelling from down wherever you come from to here, whatever it is. I don't know what you've encountered, seeing as you don't know where you've been and you don't seem to know where you're going.
Fair enough. Thank you.
But anyway, so do you have anything that you wish to offer? Seeing as I'm willing to afford you my good name, Alistair McCullum, chieftain of the McCullum clan, as introduction to Brannock Skane, is there anything you'd like to offer me?
We have coin, if that would be of benefit to you in this village.
Coin is of benefit to everybody. How much coin we talking about? And are we talking the type of coin that pays for drinks, or the type of coin that pays for lassies? Are we talking the kind of coin that pays for, well, treasure and wealth and belongings?
Well, such things I would have to confer with my friends, but I think.
Oh, I understand. You need to ask the ladies if you're allowed to spend your hard-earned coin.
Well, they have their own coin purses to speak of. It's not just me. We all.
Oh, well, no, you're absolutely right. This is something that would benefit all of you. So, yeah, you should all chip in. All of you chip in. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm chalking a good bit from being outside, and, wouldn't mind getting myself a few more drams and a wee bit warmer.
So
but you go talk to your ladies and ask permission. Go, you go right ahead. Zero Duck, thanks for following, buddy.
I'm going to put a gold coin on the table and look at the bartender and say, for my friends, whatever he wants. Anything else on me, I'll pay for it.
All right.
And I'm going to kind of give a little awkward nod, and I'm going to return to my table.
Okay, Beecham says, well, how did that go?
He still made fun of my earlier flubs, but I got some information that...
Don't pay no mind to that. That's just their way, you see. It's just how they are. Insults flow with these people as much as how-do-yous and fare-thee-wells back down south in Arconis.
So the Skane family are
clan.
not as... Clan, yes, are not as nice as the McCollums have been to us. But he did offer us an outsider who chose to leave by the name of Bronick, who lives in the woods, of which travel should be easy, save for the natural threats that exist in woodlands, which we need to be wary of. If we, towards the end of our journey through the woods, if we find some slates to the side of the road and travel northward, we might find his Bronick's house, and we could use that to leverage good favor with the clan itself. And he wants compensation from us, and by way of coin, that would be.
Thank God! I was hoping I didn't have to do another snog.
Another snog. Have you been snogging many of these lowlanders around here?
No, the potential for one, but Marlowe.
Well, if you do ever feel the need to facilitate a snog, James Beecham, would be very much at your beck and call.
That was an interesting way to put it, James. Thank you.
He is an attractive man, Kia.
Yes? What's your charisma, James?
I don't know. What's your strength, Keeliana? No, James, he is a decent-looking guy. I mean, he is definitely probably the best-looking fellow in this establishment, by far.
Hey, what about me? Fuck.
Yeah, your charisma is in the toilet, dude. You don't have a great...
15.
Exactly. No.
Well, that's Calmam at number 7.
He is a good-looking guy. He really is.
Okay.
Radovan's got those rugged good looks. He is a good-looking dude. Beecham is more of the kind of... He's got those more classic kind of, like, chiseled good looks.
Okay. Good to know. I will consider your,
Radovan is your
offer.
Jason Statham, whereas Beecham is your Brad Pitt. You know, that kind of thing going on.
Wait, what was the first thing you said? I missed that.
Pee Wee Herman.
No, Pee Wee Herman.
No, I said Jason Statham.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's like...
Yeah. Different kinds of handsome.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Most of Radovan's charisma comes from his personality.
No.
Very charming.
Yeah, sadly,
Well, how much coin does he want exactly, Radovan?
This nice establishment could probably use a nice little boost. I don't rightly know, though.
Like 10 gold, 20 more. I'm willing to offer some gold, but I just know we better save some for down the road.
How about... How much does a horse go for? Like, traditionally, it's 75 gold? Right?
For a cheap-ass riding horse, yeah.
Cheap-ass.
No, I mean, you can pay hundreds for a decent quality horse.
Yeah, that's right. So how about we each chip in so they can buy more cattle or more more animals, right? So we each give 25 gold. That's the kind of works.
25 gold. It's like we need a 25 gold emote. That's what we need. 25 gold comes up on this channel more than any other thing.
But I mean, if we all give 25 gold, that's or Beecham, you don't have to, but 75 gold would be a nice little.
Well, if you recall, I not only don't have to, I can't. I sold my horse to pay what you needed for the extra, and while you did kindly reimburse me,
and then some. But yes, it's true.
I don't have a lot of coin, I'm afraid. But of course, I'd be more than happy to chip in what I can.
Don't worry about it, James.
He kind of starts fumbling around in his pockets, looking for a coin that he has but seems to not find.
No, we will give Marlo, Kia, and myself. We'll each give 25 gold.
Okay.
Let's make him an offer then.
So you wanna offer Alistair McCullum 75 gold?
Yes.
For his good name.
God, I don't know if this is too low or too high.
The joys of diplomacy. Okay.
So I'm going to get up with the gold that I got from everybody.
Okay.
I'm going to go back over, and I'm going to kindly and gently put the gold purse in front of him and be like, I hope this will be suitable for you and your clan.
All right, you put it down, and he picks it up, you see him go like, he opens the pouch, looks in, and you see him with a startled look on his face, and he zips it back up, stuffs it in his spar, and he says, I didn't need to count this. You've been most generous. He says, now then, let me hand you something. And he kind of reaches down into his boot and pulls out what appears to be a very finely carved, bone-handled dagger. It's kind of like single blade on one side. He says, here, take this. And he hands it to you with great pride. Wow. He said, this is a cyan dub.
Wait, what was that?
A cyan dub. It's a ceremonial dagger, if you like.
It was beautiful.
He says, it'll identify you as a member of the Clan McCullum, or a friend as a Clan McCullum. If you hand, or at least show, I wouldn't have gave it to him, but if you show Brannock Skeen this, he'll know for certain that you come with the good well wishes of Alistair McCullum.
Well, thank you very much. I will cherish this nice gift.
He said, and so you should, laddie, so you should. That's a real bone. He said, you see at the bottom there? He said, that bottom, he goes, that's real bone. And the top of the handle, he said, that's real deer antler.
Wow.
Wow.
My father shot that deer himself. Had the dagger made, and he passed that dagger down to me when I was a wee lad, and now I'm giving it to you as a sign of respect.
Well, I accept it with great respect, and I will cherish this till the end of my days.
And so you should, laddie. So you should. Show that to any member of the McCullum clan, and they'll know that you come with Alistair's blessing. Might even get you an audience with the chief, so it might. Probably be able to leave with both your bollocks intact as well, if you hound that dagger out.
Well, I would like to leave with both my bollocks intact.
I can hear that. I'm chuckling.
I appreciate it. He says, At that point, he kind of spins around and he says, "Lads! Lassies!" He says, "I'd like all of you to raise a glass and give a good Lowland welcome to our new friends from Fujinami, was it?" And he kind of says that with a really sarcastic grin on his face. He says, "Around on the house, courtesy of them." And then he takes a few coins out of his purse and scatters them across the table. And the barman runs to gather them up because it's all gold. And he's like, "Oh!" You see him gathering it all up, and everyone starts cheering and waving their glasses at you.
I'm gonna cheer and hold the dagger very visibly over my head as I do so. Yay!
I can just see it was like. Okay. After that, everybody seems to warm to you guys a lot better.
All it took was money. Who would have thought?
A lot of money. 75 gold is an incredible amount of money to these peasants.
We did overshoot it, guys.
But yeah, you guys. But several people bring you over drinks and stuff like that later on, and if you drink all of it, everybody will be absolutely bloated, except for Marlowe, of course, who is immune to the powers of the alcoholic beverage.
I will temper myself.
Marlowe's like the Flash. She's drinks the most vicious liquid she can find. Like she'll down a pint of whiskey and go, "There it is!" Oh, there it went. I was drunk for half a second.
but I am going to turn to Beecham, and I'm going to say, honestly, I usually overshoot with the gold.
He says, "Well,
so
you clearly have outdone yourself in more ways than one, and at least now it does seem that rather than fight you or hurl insults at you, they're willing to buy you drinks, so I would consider that Diplomacy 101 achieved."
Great.
I never have to speak again. I'll just shower people with gold. That never goes wrong.
Well, considering the times that you opened your mouth, it didn't go so well. Maybe that's not a terrible idea. How deep do your pockets run, incidentally?
I'm broke.
Llama Eaters, thanks for hitting the resub button, my friend. Much love. Thank you, my friend. Spam your hype and spam your pants off.
One more month till 24.
I'm much more.
Yeah, one more month to the gold standard.
Yes, you are.
He said, "So we're traveling.
Spend gold everywhere.
We're traveling east. You said that we're meeting a friend of his."
We are, yes. His name is Bronick. He lives in the woods on the way.
Oh, wonderful.
We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave here, Dunedin, I think it's called, right?
Dunedin, I believe they call it.
We're gonna leave in the morning. We're gonna travel east to the forest, and we should find a road which will take us through the forest.
Ah, wonderful.
So, and then we'll deviate to the north, find the cabin, get in with him, show him this dagger, and I'm going to show the dagger to everybody.
Very easy. Hopefully nobody's lying.
We should procure some rations for the travel then. Sure. In the morning.
I will handle the rations. Don't worry about it.
Oh, excellent.
It'll be lighter on our backs. We won't be as tasty, but we'll make it do.
I see. Well then, I dare say I've had a couple more of these absolutely shite glasses of Highland spirit than I should have had. Ooh. So if you don't mind, I'm going to retire to the nearest hay bale.
Good night, well, James.
He gets up and heads out the door, leaving you and your company all together.
Okay, I think I would go easy on the drinks to prepare for the long traveling tomorrow.
Okay.
I'd probably retire shortly after James.
All right.
Same, yes.
glad that we have finally done something right, and all it took was 75 gold.
Hey, just buy everything. Buy your friends.
I would have gotten the same for 25 gold, but
Probably.
But would you have gotten the dagger?
Who knows?
That's true. The spook staying up?
I would probably stay a little bit longer. Just sort of fight and sleep. Then I would get up and go.
Alrighty, okay. So you guys wake up bright and early the following morning. Radovan, you said that you're going to take care of rations, food and drink and all that mess?
Yes, with some spell work when we get on the road.
Alright.
So we're going to eat our first meal in the tavern to say our goodbyes.
Okay.
So I'm not going to cast a create food and water spell here.
Not while you can actually have real food. Okay. Alrighty. And then once you're ready, you can head out along the mud track road. It takes you pretty much about 5 or 6 hours before you find the edge of the woods. You can see it ahead of you. Again, here you are in the early months of January. It's freezing cold. The north wind blows pretty hard, but you guys are fairly well insulated. You know, you've got loads and loads of furs on, so it's not too bad right now. About midday, you can see the forest, and it is clear the way that the trees converge that you can see an entry point. Another hour sees you to the tree line, and you can indeed see what appears to be a makeshift track that runs in and through the forest, clearly dividing like the two sides of the forest with about a 10-foot wide pathway that runs through it. It's not really paved as such, like a road, but it is trodden and hard, and the grass is kind of like all dead along the path, because clearly this has seen a fair amount of travel. Maybe not at this time of year, but possibly in the warmer months.
Okay.
Alrighty. You continue pretty much until late afternoon. The early evening begins to come as the sun starts to set. Let me go ahead and bump you up here.
Ooh, pretty.
Pretty deadly.
Okay.
Okay. Do this.
Okay.
So is the wind, like, since there's so many trees...
the wind is nowhere near as bad in amongst these trees, no. Once you're inside the forest, there are gusts that come down through the trees. It's still chilly cold, and but the trees are acting like a great buffer against the main strength of the wind.
Okay, great. Okay. So, Radovan, what did you say we were looking for along this route? To find our friend Brannick?
Alistair said slates. Some slates?
What's a slate?
I don't rightly know.
It's rock.
Okay. Slate of rock, yes, that makes sense. Like an outcropping or something?
No, slate is a type of rock.
It's a type of rock.
Well, there we go. Actually didn't know.
You know your rocks, don't you, Marlo?
Marlo's better travel than us.
Okay, then I'm going to keep an eye out and an ear out as we're traveling for any strange noises.
An ear out is difficult because the wind really does keep... Like, you often think you hear something, and then you're like, is that just the wind?
I'll keep a heavy eye out then.
Well, come on, guys. Just stand around.
I'm walking.
All right, so you follow the worn track.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so as you get up to about here, everybody go ahead and make a spot check for me, which should be rolls that I see and you don't. So, if they're configured properly, give me spot checks. There we go.
Yay!
All right, Radovan and Kia. As you kind of walk up down, you kind of walking down the road, to the right-hand side, somewhere over here, you saw what appeared to be a faint glimmer that was possibly like the sun reflecting off of something metallic. You only saw it for a brief second, and it vanished.
Huh. Does slate glimmer, Marlo?
Not really.
Oh.
Kind
That's weird.
Flat, kind of.
Did anybody else see that?
Everyone, just keep your eyes open.
See what?
I thought I saw something. I don't know. It went away though.
Something just reflected, like
Like
sun off of a shield or something metal.
a weapon?
I need to cast mage armor on myself.
Okay. Is it wise to proceed?
Well, what else I would?
Just, I'm gonna remove my shield and my mace, and say, well, we can't backtrack. We might just gotta keep going. Marlo,
Okay.
keep an eye on the back.
Beecham very cautiously moves forward, watching left and right eagerly into the tree line, looking back down the road, looking ahead of the road, like almost paranoid.
Okay, I'm going much slower now.
Okay. All right. Radovan, to the left of you is a huge big pile of what appears to be thinly laid rock. Like, each one is probably about 2 to 3 inches thick, but considerably larger, and they're all just stacked on top of each other in a large pile. Marlo, as soon as you understand what slate is, it would be a big pile of slate. All right, give me another spot check, Radovan and Kia.
Okay.
Marlo's kind of looking down the road, and Beecham is really not paying much attention to that side.
Hey,
All right, Radovan,
Go ahead.
you can see what appears to be like there's just down across the grass over yonder here. It appears to kind of go down into a dip, like it, there's like a slight hillock that goes down. You saw what appeared to be the top of a helmet, kind of like ducked down behind the grass line, below vision from over there. There's definitely somebody there. Somebody is hiding, just down below the line of sight.
Kia, get behind me, because you're exposed on your right side.
Sir.
As soon as you say that, Beecham jumps over these pile of rocks here and ducks down behind them.
I get
Marlo,
behind you, put my hands up.
ahead. I saw something duck down, like wearing something like. Just
Which
custom-
side?
Right side. See where it dips over there, right off the road. Someone was over there. It could be Brannick. It could be your friend. You could just say hello. Maybe.
Reveal yourself.
All right, you say that. Basically, what emerges is not probably what you was expecting. Let me go ahead and
Lana.
for chat. Okay. Emerging out from down below the dirt, the first thing you see is a short, stubby, bearded individual as he comes up wearing what appears to be like full scale mail with a shield and a big hand axe. Behind him, another one emerges, dressed pretty much the same, but wielding a huge, oversized hammer. And then behind him, not wearing a helm, is another fellow who is carrying what can only be described as the biggest machete-type looking sword that you've ever seen. It's probably a Klopesh, like an orc would wield, But in his hands, it looks like a big two-handed meat cleaver. They have long beards that kind of come down to their navels, as they all kind of deep ingrained frowns with lots and lots of, indented lines in their forehead, either from worry or age, as they all emerge. They form like a line and make it very clear that they have weapons as they kind of hold them visibly. None of them being more than about 4.5 feet tall. And that's including their helms.
Nice.
So I'm gonna relax a little bit. I'm smarter than that, but...
Yeah, you know what they are. They're dwarves.
I like them. I know we're friends with dwarves. So I'm gonna kind of lower my mace and lift up my shield in greeting and say hello.
Hail.
Alright, this one on the far end of the line steps forward a few feet and says, "Greetings from the road."
What did he say?
Greetings from the road.
Oh, okay.
We mean no harm. We mean no trouble. We are just heading to the nearest town through the woods.
Well, then you'll get no trouble from us.
How's the road up that way?
Fine. As roads go. Roads that travel through woods anyway. Horin Brandfinder at your service.
Wait, what? Say
Horin Brandfinder. This is my shield brother, Tavern Brandfinder.
Are you related to Karen?
Karen?
Or is that Karen Brandfinder?
No, Karen Brandfinder.
I don't know.
we sorry, from long ago we made friends with a group of traveling dwarves like yourselves, and I'm not good with names. I've never been good with names. My friend Marlo here can attest to that. I mispronounce her homeland all the time. Without meaning to be a bit disrespectful, of course. I was just hoping...
It's something we understand from you, long shanks. Us dwarves, we never forget a face and we never forget a name.
Oh, we were working for Gaffer Ironbeard, is all. He was a leader who sadly died.
Gaffer Ironbeard? And you see them all, they all kind of stop and look at each other.
Yes.
Yes, he was the leader of the group who we were assisting.
Ironbeard left and travelled south and to the west over 50 years ago. We heard little to nothing from him, but rumour came that nigh on 3 years past, apparently he met his demise.
It was tragic, but he was helping. He was actually helping us. We were fighting an evil cult.
How common are dwarves?
Not overly, especially not in Arconis. They exist, but they're not very common.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if Marlo would have seen a dwarf before.
I would say it's probable that you've seen one or two, but not many.
Okay.
So, you were the ones that they travelled with?
Yes, ironically, we met them in Skelder. Outside Skeldergate. Wasn't that right, Kia? Was that the actual town?
We heard the tales. The tales of Scale Erickson. The prince. He was afflicted by some crazy malady and set about his own kin.
Yes,
And Lord Gaffer Ironbeard raised a party of noble dwarves and went to put him out of his misery.
And they met. Yes.
We helped with that. We were able to put him out of his misery. And
with that, they all kind of
rest.
lower their weapons immediately.
And
they seem like a lot more relaxed, and they kind of just start walking forward.
Keeliana at your service.
Okay, they all kind of bow.
Radovan Rainier. I'm gonna bow as well.
He says, well, understand that our kin are far, far away, but for dwarves, kin is always kin. And Prince Scale Eriksson, he led the first party all the way down to the far, far reaches of the southwest.
Right, Arconis, that's where we're from. That's where we hail from.
So have you met many of our other kin in Arconis?
Well, I haven't seen much, but I've heard stories of. I don't rightly know what happened to the party. I mean, there's so many of these names I'm trying to remember. Forgive me.
I wish we could help.
A word of advice when dealing with dwarves: always remember the names. We can bear grudges that will go deeper than your own ancestry.
And of course, I apologize. I mean no offense. It's just we as a group have been through quite a bit. And we're human. I'm gonna look at Kia, kind of like shrug. So our memories are not nearly as strong or as impressive.
He says, we know an elf when we see one. You may be human. She may be human. That fella skulking behind the rocks over there, he may be human. But that is an elf. As sure as my beard is as black as pitch.
I'm gonna take my hood off. You got me.
You're kind of noticing these dwarves have a similar accent to the lowlanders, but they don't have the same. They're not as guttural. They don't speak as flowery. They're not anywhere near as insulting. They're way more plain speaking. But you can definitely kind of sense the similarity of their dialects.
Okay.
Well, I will be sure to keep that advice. I'll take that advice to heart moving forward. It was so long ago that we encountered Ironbeard and his party, and what him and the party and us went through. I'm gonna be honest, it was crazy.
Now, that is something of great interest. You see, we had heard that Gaffer Ironbeard, Auric Fangrim, Ragnar Lavskin, Corin Brandfinder, my uncle, Berdrick Finbeard, they all set out looking for Prince Scale Eriksson. The rumour said that they found him, a strange and crazy beast, and with the help of some strangers, 2 elves and a man, so we heard, put him to rest, and then as thanks and payment, travelled with their companions to a mountain that had the name, I wanted to say they called it the 3-Crowned Mountains or something like that.
Tri-Crown, yes.
Tri-Crown, aye. And whereupon they encountered and did battle with a fearsome and devilish cult. And in this battle, Lord Gaffer Ironbeard fell. Would you, if you are indeed those that fought bravely alongside our kin, could you perhaps regale us with the details so that we may go back to the mountains and allow our kin to record with more accuracy the events that transpired in Lord Gaffer Ironbeard's adventures?
Absolutely. But perhaps we should do that over some drink and food and pleasant times, and not on the side of this road that's so cold. And
Yes. Where are you headed?
We're just headed to the west, to the coast.
we were headed to the east. But where do you have an encampment somewhere that we could?
We do not. Go? But in this climate, I find camping inside the tree line is a little more pleasant, and not being on the road seems to be more favourable for not being discovered, especially when we light a fire.
Well,
great.
There's also a gentleman in these woods by the name of Brannick, and we have an inn with him. Well, we haven't met yet, but he lives in a cabin in the forest that we might be able to all spend the nights, if you will.
He is close.
I don't know.
They said it was north of these rocks next to me, and I'm going to point to the rocks with my shield arm. Kind of like we were instructed to head north of this point. And if you look, I guess there's some. Is this a trail, or is it just
it does look like a trail? Yes.
Yes. We were going to just follow this and see if it led to him.
You are welcome to join us.
If he's a friendly fellow, and he's not far up this trail, then that would be suitable.
Well, join us. It'll be good to be in company of dwarves again.
All right. Well, they all mutter amongst themselves briefly, and they say, "Aye, fair enough. Lead the way."
I hope this Brannick guy's not too terrible. Start to walk north.
He's a dwarf hater. All right. Okay. You head on up the path. Well, you've been traveling a good hour. It's now pretty much getting dark. The moonlight is like shining above, and you still have not seen any hide nor hair.
Nothing.
The vocal dwarf kind of says, "Is it much further?"
I don't honestly know, my friend.
Maybe we should just make a camp here then. Light a good warm fire. Roast a couple of rabbits that we managed to find on the trail.
It sounds good to me. I don't want to keep you guys traveling too far off your path.
Fair enough. Is there any outcropping of trees that would be suitable?
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to find a spot between the trees that you can...
Well, let's do that.
All right.
Yeah, because we don't want to put these guys out too much.
Okay, so the dwarves go around, basically they like dig out a hole in the ground and get some old twigs and stuff like that and lay them down, and within next to no time they've managed to get a fire going. They pull out some tinder from their backpack and get a small blaze, nothing too big but enough to stand around and at least melt the frost around you for probably a good 4 or 5 feet.
Okay.
As promised,
I'll let them do that.
they pull out a couple of rabbits and begin to skin them. And they set up a makeshift spit and start cooking them over the fire.
Okay. I'll just help out where I can.
All right. Okay. So as the food is going and cooking, as Beecham is eyeing the rabbits feverishly, you all kind of gather around. He says, "So, this tale then. Tell us. All of you, tell us about the brave actions and the heroics of Gaffer Ironbeard and his company."
Hey, do you want us to actually tell the story, or?
Yeah, tell it.
Oh God, I don't remember it.
I mean, you don't have to give every friggin' detail, but yeah, tell us a tale. Oh, here, hold on. Let's do this. Go ahead. It was an epic tale, wasn't it? Really. So.
Yeah, some epic music.
Yeah, always. Tell us a tale. Here, let's use.
The tail
I
music.
don't remember it at all.
Really, Jane? How pathetic. Come on.
Fuck. I mean, I know I fireballed someone on accident, but I'm not about to tell them that.
I don't think that was on accident. I think you did it intentionally.
Or on purpose. I'm not going to tell them that.
All right. Okay. Regale me and Chet with the adventures that happened back in the day.
It was actually Kia here who was first approached by Gaffer Ironbeard and company because she is talented in the magical art, or the arcane arts, if you will. And this creature was such that this beast, this unfortunate curse that happened upon Scale Ulrichsen, was
Describe the beast to us! Describe the beast!
It was purple and huge, kind of balding with claws and fangs, and it would vanish.
Could disappear.
How tall was it? How tall? Like 10 feet tall?
It was a fucking
15.
No, it was not 15. Yeah. It was like 4 feet, right? 4.5 feet, if I recall. But it was scary in that it would vanish and then reappear behind someone when they didn't expect it and attack them, basically.
That was why they approached me. They thought I could attack it.
So,
right?
yes. So, Karen, your cousin, or your uncle? Cousin? Sorry.
Corin Brandfinder. He was my uncle.
He is a religious folk. He's like me in many ways. Just we have different faith, but similar wells of power. I cast a spell to anchor it in its place, so it wouldn't like phase out again. And we managed to, with a lot of attacks, a lot of trouble, we managed to put Scale Ulrichsen to rest. But it took a few days.
We did hear something that was a little bit strange.
What?
Well, as I said, the details are very, very fuzzy. But some said that for a moment that Corin Brandfinder, my uncle, almost turned upon one of their friends because apparently was they stood back to back to battle the beast. Whoever it was launched balls of fire and almost incinerated my uncle and two of the other dwarves. Like, almost killed their own friends. Surely this is a tale that was exaggerated or incorrect or told wrong.
Friendly fire.
Friendly fire? What does that mean?
To be honest with you guys, I was doing my best to cast fire magic at the prince, and since it was disappearing and reappearing so quickly, sometimes a fireball would miss.
So
I eventually got him, though.
So you were the one that accidentally almost fried my uncle alive.
Well, Radovan came quickly to his aid and healed him almost immediately. He didn't suffer.
We were woefully unprepared for what this cursed prince could do. So the first night we were beside ourselves and it was chaos and we were in a circle, as you've heard. The thing would only strike with opportunity, and every time it emerged it would be kind of cured of the damage we had dealt to it, like it had some massive regeneration ability when it was not visible to us. So it actually was a 2-day affair of constant, it was that we were all fatigued and scared and unsure of ourselves. So in that chaos, it was a mistake, surely. I mean, it was not intended.
I admit I did make some mistakes during that battle, but I have since learned how to control my fire magic.
Well, we can appreciate your honesty.
Yes.
And understand that in such times of great difficulty, sometimes these things do happen, and from what I understand, Other than a bit of a singed beard, Corin suffered no long-lasting ill effects. I just wanted to hear the tale to be more accurate. So you felled the beast.
And
you felled the beast that was once Scale Erickson.
And we put him to rest with respects. We, Ironbeard did the ceremony, and we laid the poor man to rest. And at that point, Ironbeard and Corin, they offered their services to us because we enlightened them to our purpose and what we were out for. And
okay, so continue with your tale. So what happened next?
We traveled north.
To
Epitomon.
Oh, to Epitomon?
And there the people in Epitomon were being oppressively ruled by this corrupt and evil government that was not legitimate. There was a strange demonic plate of armor that happened to explode at one point when we were fighting it because they were going to execute a bunch of innocent peasants as part of their enforcement. I do remember Ironbeard and Larksveer and was it Fendbeard, I think, and your cousin or your uncle.
Berdrick Fendbeard. Aye.
There you go.
Uncle, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm on the spot here, man. They stayed underneath the gallows because if the peasants were going to be hanged, they would be there to save them, which they did.
So they saved a bunch of people.
They saved a bunch of villagers, and we traveled northward again after a mistake with the other member of our party who's no longer with us. Her name is Raisa. She is a half-elf. She murdered an individual, and we had to break her out of prison. Kind of regrettably, for me at least.
Then we went to the Tri-Crown Mountains.
Mm-hmm. Ironbeard showed us an alternate way into the building because there was an army camped out to the south of the mountain pass in the Tri-Crown Mountains that was of evil intent, and we didn't want to deal with them. We fought another creature. I don't remember what it was, but it was guarding that entrance. We entered, and there were a bunch of evil army people there with like fire pits and two crossbowmen in the back. Kia here would dimension door the dwarves in the party back there to deal with them, which they did. I fell in a fire pit by accident because I couldn't jump really well. And then, long story short, we were attacked by some creatures with like gigantic mosquitoes that sucked our blood. We went to the chambers. There was a mess hall that was alerted to our presence.
That's my favorite part of the story for the dwarves.
And Gaffer Ironbeard and all the other dwarves, they fought in those hallways in the Tri-Crown Mountains.
Sacrificed themselves for us to pass through.
So we thought, yes, they fought for us and said, go on, we'll deal with these, random army people. That was regrettable. We dealt with the cults, and we were losing and near death. And it was only by the grace of Gaffer Ironbeard and Corin and the others that we were successful in defeating the cultists.
Well, a fine tale indeed.
So I don't think that was a fine tale at all.
Sure.
You can have the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, Redman tells us really awesomely, just so you know.
Okay. Well, so you regale them with their tale. You eat your roasted rabbit, and camp around the small fire, and for the most part with the extra comfort of having 3 dwarves to help guard the camp and help keep watch. You guys can get a reasonable night's sleep, even if the fire itself doesn't do a whole lot to offer warmth. It at least kind of keeps the chill to a minimum. So you guys, you get some rest. It's just an uncomfortable, cold, and awkward rest. And that is a good place for us to stop right there. Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on How We Roll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter at Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons and Dragons related. And of course, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also, guys, don't forget to keep up with all things How We Roll. Follow us on Twitter at How We Roll. Check out the website www.howweroll.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
Shagget here. On How We Roll, I play Radovan Rainier, War Priest of St. Cuthbert, who just so happened to author a new academic book that's coming soon. It's titled Libido Rectification for the Required Propagation of Arconis' Depleted Men-at-Arms, or more affectionately titled Mandate Number 2 and You. You can follow me on Twitter at @neb_convos for upcoming book excerpts, just to get the hype going, push up the sales. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, I'm the Dragon Spooker, and I play Marlo Rayfell, monk and resident badass for How We Roll. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so using @DragonSpooker, or follow my Twitch channel, which I sometimes stream on, twitch.tv/TheDragonSpooker.
Hi, thanks for watching another episode of How We Roll. I am Jane Ivana, and this is my lovely cat, Norman, who really doesn't want to be here right now. You can follow me on Twitter, @JaneOnTwitch with a 0. Shh, don't tell him, he doesn't like birds. No. I stream occasionally on twitch.tv/Jane Ivana, so you can find me there. And I guess that's all we got. You got something to say? Nope. Peace, suckers. Bye.